Hey everybody, this is Matt with Babylon Micro Farms. I appreciate you hopping on and joining us today. I am joined today by Heather and Adrian as well from Norfolk Public Schools. So looking forward to speaking with them about their micro farm program that they currently have. Heather and Adrian, would you all mind giving just a quick introduction and some background on yourselves?
Hi, so I'm Heather Steed, and I'm the operations manager for school nutrition here in Norfolk.
Hello, I'm Adrian Hopkins. I'm the district supervisor here for the Central Kitchen.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And again, really excited to have you all joining us today. As we kick off the discussion, I'd like to kind of go back to the start at somewhat of a high level and ask, I guess first and foremost, do you all or any of the schools that you all support, are there any gardens in place already prior to moving to Babylon Micro Farms?
Yes. So we, before COVID, we had a small microgreen garden, and it was a great start. It was here in our central warehouse and kitchen, but it was limited and it wasn't very sophisticated.
Okay.
So coming out of the pandemic, we wanted to extend and expand our impact. And so this gave us an opportunity to do that and to bring the farm to table concept into our schools. And we also have done something called tower gardens, and we
Okay.
have those at our schools. I'd say about maybe 20% of our locations have tower gardens.
So it was really looking to maximize the impact of having that on-site farming is what kind of drew you to hydroponics and indoor farming?
So it was just something that we've been shopping around for.
Sure.
Again, wanting something a little more sophisticated. Wanted to maximize the space that we have here in our central location and just kind of see what was out there. And so
Sure.
shopping around, we found Babylon and it really sparked our interest. And so it kind of like evolved from there.
Sure. And what specifically about Babylon, I guess, was kind of the final draw to go with the gallery rather than another hydroponic system you may have seen?
We were actually invited after we did a lot of research and went back and forth with Sharon. We were invited to an open house that Babylon hosted at your facility in Richmond, and myself, Adrian, and Alyssa, who is our dietitian, were all able to participate and to see firsthand what you guys have to offer. And it was really like it was mind blowing to see that what we were hoping for could come to fruition, but that it could be even bigger and better than we had ever imagined. So, and then the technology piece really was like made sense to us. A
Sure.
little overwhelming because I'm
Yeah.
not a tech person myself, but it really made it an easy answer for us to have that support from you guys on a regular basis.
Sure. And Adrian, how about you? Anything that stuck out, or was it kind of the technology on your end as well?
It was the technology for me. I mean, walking in and seeing everything was amazing, but then to actually have it in your hand to where the app can tell you when to grow, when to move, when to clean the machine. It's no way that you can't get it done in a timely manner, and you can also manage your time by using the app. So
Sure.
yeah, it's definitely been a great asset.
And tell me about just as, and I'll kind of tie it back into the app itself, but tell me about the team that you have operating the units. Is it just you two, or do you have additional members of your team helping out?
So, some of my team members have been shown how to do it, but
Okay,
the main person would be myself and the other young lady, Sylvia. She's
sure.
a master grower as well, a master farmer.
Okay, okay. And do you all kind of use the app to help? I guess I'll start with just a little bit of a background to kind of expand on what you just mentioned. So our Babylon Guided Growing app, just for those who are attending, kind of helps map out the next couple months, next week, as far as what tasks are needed to be completed in the farm on any given week. So do you use the app to kind of, or have you found that the app is helpful as far as task management, giving you all do have 4 farms?
Yes, we do have 4 farms. So in the beginning, I kind of put myself in a bind by doing everything all at once. So after I
Sure.
learned to stagger it, it made it more easy to manage my time. And so I try to plant things that I know we will use in a timely manner. So may it be the microgreens or the leafy greens, it's all based off the timing of the growth.
Gotcha. I gotcha. And Heather, do you have access to the app as well?
I do.
Okay. And is it more just for higher level visibility on your end as well?
Yes. So when we all when we signed up for this and everything was installed, we all became, members and app carriers.
Sure.
But I'm at the higher level, so I let
Sure.
Adrienne handle that. I get all the notifications, and I just know that Adrienne's taking care of it, and her team. So I don't pay too close of attention to it, but I do
Sure.
see it. So especially having multiple users, if somebody is out, then somebody else, the other parties are aware, of what's going on, like if it does need to be cleaned or if if there's an issue.
Now, even though you're not necessarily, on the day-to-day or week-to-week operation, do you find it helpful having visibility into things like when different crops will be ready or what the status of the farm is?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
And now I do kind of want to go back to you mentioning 4 farms. Most of our locations will do, one, typically 2 farms per installation. What was the decision to do 4? Was that more just for output? Was it for impact?
So Norfolk Public Schools is a little different than a lot of school districts across the state. Just to give you a little context, we have our own central warehouse and production center here,
Okay.
which is where Adrienne and I both work, where our offices are, and we receive all of our goods here. We food and supplies, and also we make some of our recipes here as well. Some
Sure.
of our items go straight to the schools, but a lot of things we have salads, bento boxes and certain sauces, condiments, and a few other items that we make here in the central kitchen. So we kind of figured we have the space. Let's just go for it. Once we knew we were committed, we really wanted to do it all at one time, and we knew that we had the support from Babylon to do that. And so we just figured using this model gave us the opportunity and the to incorporate the fresh produce into our meals on a much larger scale and to maximize our impact.
And have you seen having those farms incorporated into the culinary and food program? Have you seen that impact, menu and recipe planning, and maybe just the day-to-day offerings and consumption of the schools that you all support?
Yes, it has. As far as the leafy greens, those are added to the spring mix that we purchased to bulk up the volume of what we have. Adding microgreens is something that a student wouldn't even know that they're eating, but this is something that's being added to them without them knowing.
Sure.
And even on the leafy greens, we actually have had kale and we cooked it, and it was something that we ate as part of our menu here in-house at our
That's great.
Central Kitchen Cafe.
That's great. And did you all have any, I know you touched on microgreens and kale, which are, are 2 very nutrient dense
Mhm.
offerings that we have that you can grow through our farms. Did you all have some wellness goals in mind as far as initially when you were looking at incorporating hydroponic farms and Babylon into your existing program? Did you have any wellness goals that these farms have helped you meet?
The biggest thing Miss Lisa would always tell us is fresher is better. So
Okay.
by growing it hydroponically, no pesticides, nothing happening to it, we knew that that was a better fit for the students as well as us.
Sure. Now I'd love to kind of go back and touch on, and Heather, I know you touched on this as well, it being, generally off-site from the schools themselves. Would you mind touching on the visibility that you have for the farms, whether it be even through, principals and supporting teams that might be able to see the farms on a regular basis?
Yes. So every year before school, part of the training professional development for principals as well as administrators that work in our downtown administration building are invited to each aspect of our operation. So not just us, it's the transportation department, athletics department, and a few others. And they are taken on a bus from one location to the other. And when they get to us, we give them a PowerPoint, explain who we are, what we do, what we can't do that they all think that we can,
Sure.
just to try and explain who we are and how we can support the students in our district. And so part of that, we share with them in our presentation about all of our gardens, but most notably about Babylon.
Sure.
And then we also take them on a tour of our facility so they understand what we have and what we're working with, and also some of our challenges.
Sure.
And so, because of that, they're able to see our four gardens and how gorgeous they are. And even though it's part of our presentation, it definitely sparks conversation and it makes them question, what are we doing and how are we doing it and how they can get involved. So that is definitely a step next, that we would like to involve the schools, and this, at a student level, we would like to get them involved. And maybe it be like field trip for the kids, not just for the
Sure.
administrators.
Sure.
So ultimately, that's what we hope to do. But right now, we are sharing it and promoting it with higher, level administrators, and hoping that they bring it back to their schools and share it with their faculty and staff and students as well.
Sure. Now, how do you think that that visibility has impacted those individuals, the folks that are actually able to get to see the farms? How do you think that's impacted their perspective on just the quality of food and offerings that you all are able to provide?
I think it's like mind blowing for some of them. I really think that parents and staff have sometimes, unfortunately, a negative perspective of school lunch and what we
Sure.
offer, and what we, not only what we do, but what we aim to do to make sure that our kids are getting the absolute healthiest meal that they can get, and that they can see it, that they can tie it in, the sustainability and everything that having the gardens brings to the table, pun intended.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
It's great. So yeah, hoping that they bring it back to their schools. And I know that they do, because there's other things, of course, that we also talk about, and it's definitely a way for us to promote our different programs.
Sure. Now, looking ahead, and I know you just mentioned involving students a little bit more. What do you all have on the horizon? What are some hopes and objectives that you all are looking for? Especially as we've just kicked off the new school year. What do you have in mind?
So our vision is definitely to build more student-facing opportunities, that the students can connect what they're eating to the source. We're just not quite there yet. So
Sure.
we have definitely had some challenges here. We are undergoing a construction project right now, so we have actually had to temporarily disconnect our farms. But the dream is there, the vision is there, and that's why we started this journey.
Sure.
And so we hope that once we're back and running, up and running, with all four of our farms, and we start incorporating it back into our meals and the recipes that we have already started, that this would be like ongoing, hopefully next year, that again, we can, the possibilities are endless, that we can invite students here, whether it be, entrepreneurship, or it's a gardening club, or it is, I don't know if they still call this teen living, or wherever that they, any kind of science. Like, there's so many different ways that you could tie this into education to spark interest in a child.
Sure. Sure. And Adrian, how about you? Do you have anything in mind looking ahead?
I think Heather covered it all. I know when we did have the administrators here, they were very impressed. It was an eye opener, and a couple of them asked me, would I be open to them bringing in their students for a tour or for a special class project? So that's
Sure.
definitely something that we will have up and coming.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, so we've talked about students. We've talked about maybe other teams that maybe have had the opportunity to see the farms. Let's talk about you all. What do you think has been the most rewarding part of being able to be around these units and being able to maybe even watch the crops grow, work in the unit? What's been your favorite part?
For me, watching it come in from a little seed pack into a nice big head of romaine, or the which one do I like the most? Think I want to say maybe the green leaf or the butterhead. Those, the way that they blossom up from the bottom and just kind of expand out. It's
Right.
been cool. It's really been cool. A lot of my staff members here will just take a peek, and oh well, it's just this little a couple days ago, and then they come back, and well, it's like three times as big. And so just watching
Right.
the process of it growing, and knowing that I can actually eat it. Like if I open it up, because I keep it locked so no one wants to touch it.
Right.
But knowing that once it comes out that they can just eat it. You don't really have to wash it. It's nothing on it. It's not coming out of the ground. That's been the most exciting thing thus far. Just the whole process watching it.
And did you have a background of gardening prior to using the farms or not really?
No, just going to the grocery store. I
Okay,
definitely don't have a green thumb, so the technology was a plus for me.
sure.
Um, my co-partner, Miss Sylvia, she has the green thumb, so when I have
Okay,
questions, she
okay,
answers them for me. We actually grew some sweet William, which was something I never experienced,
sure.
and to see that it was an edible flower, that was really cool. It definitely was.
That's great. That's great. Heather, how about yourself? What's been your favorite part so far?
So for me, I see it. They're beautiful. They're absolutely gorgeous. They look like curio cabinets almost, just full of flowers and produce. So it's rewarding to see it, as Adrian said, start from a little seed and come to fruition. It to harvest. It's really, really cool. But part of my job is to make sure that we are incorporating farm to school and that we are incorporating local produce as much as possible. And
Sure.
honestly, that has a lot of challenges, and you're not always able to do what you want to do. You're not always able to, go purchase from a local farm.
Right.
We have a lot of restrictions that prohibit us from doing that or doing it with ease. And so this is an opportunity that provides, we have control of it. Now that we have the
Right.
gardens, we have control of it. If we want to get four more, if we have the room for it, we could, and we could start, growing some vegetables. We could do a lot more. And just knowing that the sky is the limit is very exciting. And again, we're in the infant stages, even though we are like a year plus into it, we're still very much in the beginning. And so to know that we can grow this on so many different levels it's very rewarding to know that.
Sure. And now that you know you kind of have the foundation of the hydroponic farming down, how do you see these farms kind of continue to shape your approach to student wellness and nutrition at Norfolk Public Schools? Looking years out, and I guess in addition to student nutrition and wellness, both from an academic standpoint as well, how do you see this, kind of have an impact on this over the next couple of years?
I see that the farms will continue to strengthen our approach by giving us reliable access to hyper fresh, nutrient dense ingredients. And over time, we want the farms to play a larger role in connecting students to what they eat, and to also for them to have a broader wellness and sustainability goals of their own.
Sure. Well, that's great. Adrian, how about you?
I agree.
Same thing?
Heather has it on lock. So I definitely would, hopefully as we continue to learn more and become more familiar with it. If it were to go into a school, maybe I thought you said teen living. I used to call it home ec. If it was something that could be done in that classroom setting, so they're able to actually grow it, use it, produce it, and eat it as well.
Sure. All right. Well, do you all have anything else to add? I've got a, couple of minutes built in for some Q&A, but any closing remarks before we hop into that?
I would, if I could give some advice or some lessons learned to those that are interested, I would say to start small. And small might be different for other districts. For us, small was 4 farms. But to find your champions, find people that work in your program that support it and want to do it and want to be a part of something like this. And then, of course, to not be afraid to lean on you guys. Your support team has been fantastic from start to finish, and we've really enjoyed the relationship that we have built with you guys. And to further that, I would also say that the setup, getting ready, the installation is a big undertaking. For us, our biggest challenges were internal. Our
Okay.
facility is a little bit older, a lot older.
Yeah.
So we had updates that were needed to our infrastructure before we could even actually install the gardens. We had to get our network and our water connections and different things up to speed, so that way we were able to implement and use the gardens the way that they're meant to be used. So first it was like, okay, well, we don't have the network but they're able to be physically connected.
Right.
So it's like you can do it, but you can't do it without the technology. It's like, no, we want to do it right. We want to, execute this the way it's supposed to be executed. So it does
Sure.
take time, and it takes buy-in from other departments within your district. So we had to work very closely with our network engineers in our IT department, as well as, again, making structural changes to our facility, to make this possible. So that is, again, because I'm not a technologically savvy person, you hear that you need this, that, whatever, Wi-Fi, or for me, it was just like, okay, no problem. And then I
Yeah.
get back here and it's like, you don't have that, or
Right.
it's
Right.
not as easy as you think, or that it won't reach that part of the facility where we wanted to put
Sure.
the farms, because we have a large stamp here in our facility. So, we had challenges that we weren't really even thinking that we were going to have. So it was at first, how are we going to buy it? Are we going to have the funding for it? Is there a way to procure it that is easy, which it is, for those of the guests that are on. There is a cooperative contract. I believe ours is through Stafford County, which makes a huge difference as well. It makes it much easier to procure it.
Sure.
And that can be very challenging. So if you know all of those things up front, and again, leaning on you guys can guide them. And if anybody ever has any questions, they're always, we're welcome to answer one-on-one with a district that is looking to do the same.
Sure. And coincidentally, that was actually one of our first questions, was any advice that you all would give. But I guess I'll kind of I'll put a twist on that question a little bit. Were there any hurdles or obstacles that you all thought were going to be an issue that ended up not being an issue? Whether it be, not having a green thumb, or just complications that ended up not being true. Can you touch on that if there were any?
So for me, not having a green thumb was something a bit of a concern for me. But once I downloaded the app, ordering the seeds was an easy process through the app. Getting everything needed to clean the machine, sanitize, all of that was, part of the package. It was delivered, and it's on a systematic replacement as far as my seeds. So
Sure.
that took a lot of the worry out of it, because I really wasn't sure what I should grow and how I could go about it. But the app really did ease my stress level, if you will,
Sure.
about not having a green thumb and taking on such a big task. Um, when they say quick start guide, it really is a quick start guide. The guide has everything that you need, from downloading the app to starting with the germination process to every other phase of the growing. And it's very much very simple and very easy. It's not as overwhelming as you may think.
Sure. And one other question that we'd received, that is kind of unique, I think, to you all right now, is someone asked what to do during winter break and summer break, which is something that's inherent with schools. I know that you all are going through somewhat of a renovation right now. What did that process look like for you all pertaining to the farms, as far as, a temporary deactivation and reactivation?
So for the summer, we're 12 months. So we actually did still produce lettuce over the summer, and it was used
Okay.
on salads for like summer school, summer camps. When we have a break coming up, depending on how I time what I plan, it's
Sure.
fine. The farm itself is very self-sustaining, and it will water it and everything while you're away. So you really don't have to worry about anything unless you're gone longer than a couple of weeks.
Sure.
Yeah, and just to co-sign what Adrian said, so for us breaking down the farms so we could, uninstall them and move them, we just kind of figured out where we were going to be at, where each crop was going to be at. And so Adrian was able to kind of control what we were growing and not grow anything else so that we didn't lose anything. And then that's when we were like, okay, this is the green light that we know that we can kind of slow and then wean down to 3 and then 2 and then 1 farm.
Sure.
And then in that last farm, that way we were able to save as much crop as possible as well.
So that predictability kind of allowed it to be a seamless transition.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
I gotcha. Well, that looks to be the last of the questions that we received. But Heather and Adrian, I really want to say I really appreciate you all hopping on and sharing with us, and especially the unique perspective that you all have with having a multi-unit installation. It's just been great to hear more about. So thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Bye.
No problem.